Shabbat Shalom, Kal Halal, Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bahashim Kodash, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. And Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word and truth and its sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, to the Aqua that are listening and learning. Every daily update. Shalom and salutations to you as well. Today is War and Rumors of War Tuesday, where we read Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of war and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And then in the NIV, it's war and rumors. In the NLT, it's wars and threats. So we got rumors and threats. We got threats, reports, and rumors. And news. So let's check out some news, reports, threats, and rumors. We'll go to Dougie Doug right here on Judge Napolitano, Judging Freedom, 45 minutes ago. So this is all fresh. Do Israel and Ukraine equal World War III? Let's find out. Rumors, threats, news, reports.
Hi everyone, Judge Andrew Napolitano here for Judging Freedom. Today is Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. Colonel Douglas McGregor joins us now. Colonel, a pleasure, my dear friend. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for accommodating my crazy schedule this week. What is the state of affairs in Ukraine now with respect to the stability of the military and the stability of the government as you understand them?
Well, I think the Ukrainian government has been in a state of slow but certain disintegration for several weeks. It's hard to follow the Byzantine politics in Kiev, but it looks like Zelensky is at very high risk of being removed, and that is obviously a potentially good news for everyone in Ukraine as well as in Russia, because his removal might open the way to ending this terrible war.
We saw rumors in the past 2 or 3 days that General Zaluzhny, the one-time commander of the Ukraine military fired by President Zelensky, has been arrested. Can you shed any light on this, or are you as much in the dark as the rest of us on whether or not this is true and where he is, and if so, if he was arrested, by whom?
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm fumbling around in the dark on that. I mean, I've heard all of these things. All of this, once again, resurrects this picture of disintegration. When the inner circle begins to point fingers and accuse their members of one or another actions that are treasonable, that's usually the beginning of the end.
I guess it's also significant that the Zelensky government arrested 2 colonels. I don't know if they're colonels in the military or colonels in the intelligence department for plotting to kidnap and assassinate President Zelensky. Anything on that?
Well, how's that for rumors and threats? And news and reports. How's that? Well, this one got arrested, and this one is crazy. This is great.
And perhaps your intelligence experts have good information on these things. I do not. I mean, all I do is read press that's translated for me, and I try to put pieces together. But beyond simply recognizing that this war is over, the notion of sending any money or equipment over there is ridiculous. You've got over 600,000 dead Ukrainian soldiers, 1 million plus wounded, millions more trying to get out of the country, and those that have left don't want to come back. I don't know who's going to write the epitaph for Ukraine, but it's going to be pretty grim. So I think all we're seeing is a sort of slow but deliberate disintegration. We'll know more when MI6 and CIA essentially recommend that we abandon ship. I think that's coming.
The Russian military has waged, as you've characterized it, a very sophisticated, patient war of attrition. Is that in the cards now, or do you think they'll get more aggressive, more offensive, and sort of finish the job quickly?
Well, I think they've already become more offensive in their operation. There has been an advance to the west all along the front. In some areas, particularly in Donetsk, or excuse me, Donbas, in the area after Avdiivka fell, you had a buildup of forces because that opened the way to, trails west. But I think we have to understand that they're not going to really launch in full force until they've got firm ground. So I understand the ground is not yet dry. Once it's dry and they have good trafficability, I think they'll close up the distance with the Dnieper River. And for them, that means also finishing up business in Kharkov. They've got 100,000 troops concentrated further north. That's a city that is historically Russian. They want to take it. And then I suppose they'll turn their attention to Odessa. They've got lots of bridges over the Dnieper. They can cross at any number of different points, and then they'll do it. So I think the offensive has started, but we have not seen it in its full magnitude yet. Now, what we have seen, as you know, in several nights over the last few weeks, are devastating strikes, eliminating communications, whatever is left of air defense forces, sort of paving the way as a shaping operation for the final offensive. And I think the Russians view this as, in all probability, the final offensive to end the war. Now, the problem for the Russians, as you and I know, Judge, is that we view Ukraine in many ways as we once viewed Vietnam, as a domino in this sort of ring or string of dominoes that if it falls, then the world ends, just as we insisted that if Ukraine or Vietnam falls, then all of Southeast Asia will fall. Well, that was all nonsense, and the same thing is true now. But that's the argument, and that's making it very difficult.
Do you think that anything the United States can send over, the minuscule portion of the 61 billion just appropriated, which reflects military equipment on its way or to be on its way, can delay the inevitable, lengthen the war, or accomplish any purpose for the Ukrainians?
I think the easy answer to say is no, but keep something in mind. We have sent now ATACMS. These are the Army Tactical Missile System that reaches out several hundred miles that can strike targets inside Russia. Now, as it turns out, the Russians have learned how to shoot these down, which once again reinforces the point that the Russian military has gotten steadily better over time. So they probably are less concerned about that now than they once were, but there are still Storm Shadow missiles, Taurus missiles, and other long-range strike capabilities that the British and the French and the Germans can provide. I think the Russians are concerned about that, which is why they've made such very strident statements about their readiness to respond if those weapons are used to kill Russian citizens in Russia and destroy Russian infrastructure in Russia.
Over the weekend, Lord David Cameron, the former British Prime Minister and now the British Foreign Minister, made a statement which caused quite a stir and quite a reaction in Moscow. I'm going to play it for you, and then I'd like your thoughts on it.
In terms of what the Ukrainians do, in our view, it is their decision about how to use these weapons. They're defending their country. They were illegally invaded by Putin, and they must take those steps. We don't discuss any caveats that we put on those things, but let's be absolutely clear. Russia has launched an attack into Ukraine, and Ukraine absolutely has the right to strike back at Russia.
Now, Russia viewed that as hostile and antagonistic, I'm sure. Is that not a fair view of it from the Russian perspective?
I think the Russians are fed up with the British and the French, as well as with us. They've reached a point now where they're trying to make it clear that if we provide these weapons to the Ukrainians, and even though we know, Judge, that most of these sophisticated weapon systems are actually operated by either contractors or soldiers and officers from NATO states. That's absolutely an open secret. But if we deliver these weapons and they are launched from Ukrainian soil on behalf of this Ukrainian regime, they will treat Great Britain and France as co-belligerents. That's the point. They've had it. This notion that somehow or another Russia is permanently in the wrong and the only thing that it can do other than commit suicide is to withdraw its forces from the sacred territory of Ukraine, most of which right now under Russian control was never really Ukrainian to begin with, is absurd. And nope.
Let's stop it right there because they're not even going into the whole Crimean tactical nuke threat, which is the newest thing on the table. So this must be a little old, right? This must be a couple of days at least. It's not where we are right now. So, with that being said, yeah, wars, rumors of war, missiles. Let's get some missiles on the way out. This is the missile chapter of Joel. Army of locusts, yeah. Well, the locusts are missiles. A bunch of them like locusts. Jump down to 7. Joel 2 and 7, they shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. There's going to be so many missiles. You know how many missiles that Iran has? This war is going to be about missiles, right? Which, World War II, was that about missiles? Not so much, right? Garments. Rolled. Missiles. Missiles, missiles, missiles. And then into nuclear missiles. Tactical nukes. ICBMs eventually. Isaiah 9 and 5, King James, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. This will be with many, many missiles. This World War III. Many, many missiles. 200 million. 200 million missiles. All right. So with that, we hope that the elect ratified you brothers and few sisters with that. We're going to say Shabbat.